Today I'm reviewing Neon Bible by Arcade Fire. Canadian indie rock band Arcade Fire was founded back in 2001 by classmates and friends Win Butler and Josh Deux. What basically happened is they gathered some bandmates, they started working on some material, and in 2004 they released the beautifully crafted record Funeral. Today I'm reviewing their second release, Neon Bible, but I also want to I want to remember it. But I also want to mention that they released a couple of other albums later on as well. They released The Suburbs in 2010, which was amazing, and they also released The Reflector in 2013, which was also an amazing album. All of their albums have been very positively received, like all around the world, so they can call themselves one of the most critically acclaimed modern rock bands of our times. If you ask me, I love every single album that they've been doing. I recently checked out this one, and that is good too. All of their other albums are really amazing. So if you haven't listened to Arcade Fire before, man, you've been missing out on a lot of good music. Arcade Fire has a very unique sound, and you can hear this on the vocals, for example. Win Butler and Regine Chasson are the two main vocalists for the whole band, and they have this very sore and very vulnerable way of singing, which is just, I don't know, it sends chills down my spine. They make the whole band sound very emotionally driven, which is, I don't know, it's just, I don't have words. Their voices add this whole sense of emotion and drama to the whole band, which I find very fascinating. You can hear this intensity, this emotion and drama in the opening track on Neon Bible, which is called Black Mirror. It starts very subtle, but then during the pre-chorus and the chorus, it really intensifies with both the vocals and the instruments. And that is another thing, the instruments. The orchestral big drums, the flutes, the piano, everything is produced in such a way that it almost sounds like you are in the room with the band. It sounds like you are in the concert hall and the band is playing right in front of you. It sounds very, very live-ish. In addition to the very vulnerable vocals, the instruments also have this sense of detune to them. It's almost like you can hear on the guitars that they're tuned a bit wrongly on purpose. If you listen to the track The Well and the Lighthouse, you can hear this. If you listen to the guitar, you can hear that the guitar is slightly out of tune, and that is not necessarily a bad thing. The fact that they sound a bit off tune is something that is recurring on several of the songs on this album, and on several older Arcade Fire albums in general as well, because this is a part of their sound. This is a part of their identity, and it makes them sound more raw and more real in my point of view. And that is something that a lot of music doesn't aim towards nowadays. A lot of music is kind of overproduced and over-perfected in a way that makes it sound mechanical and non-human. But by sounding a bit off tune, by sounding a bit more raw and rough around the edges and disharmonious, a little bit disharmonious at times, Arcade Fire manages to keep this glow of what it means to be human. We're full of mistakes, right? And the music is full of mistakes as well. And that is the beautiful part. And that is what I kind of see Arcade Fire as in a nutshell, through their very vulnerable vocals, through their wide array of instruments and their tune, this detuned effect that they have on top of that. All of this kind of represents how it means, or what it means to be human. You know, we all have mistakes, we all have good and bad sides, and it's the same thing with Arcade Fire as well, except they just openly show it because it's music, so they're allowed to do that, or they're more allowed to do that because it's an artistic work of art, and yeah. That is what makes it so good and so beautiful. In many ways, I feel like this record resonates a lot with their previous work, Funeral, in the way that it is very emotionally intense and it has very, very deep meaning. There's a lot of lyrical meaning here. On the other hand, there's a big contrast in the lyrical themes on this album. For example, Neon Bible talks more about religion, escape, mass media, seduction, while Funeral, on the other hand, revolved more around the themes of raw emotions and catharsis. In short, Neon Bible kind of looks outwards, towards the sea, towards nature, towards America as a nation, towards what it means to be in the jungle of our society, while Funeral is looking more inwards towards what we're feeling inside. Many of the songs in Neon Bible also discuss the topic of death and dying and being afraid of dying. And you can see this in songs like Black Mirror, where he sings, "I know when the time is coming, all words will lose their meaning." Okay, so he's talking about how everything suddenly won't make any sense anymore when he's about to die, and how that is kind of making things have less meaning in this moment. I think that is what he's referring to. You can also see a reference in Keep the Car Running, the next track. "There's this fear I keep so deep, knew its name before I could speak." So again, he's talking about death, because it's a fear that he kind of always had. It's something that is instinctual in all of us, this fear of death. I mean, fear of anything is eventually a fear of death. When we think about it, we're all instinctual beings, and we're all afraid of one thing, which is not perpetuating our genes and eventually dying. So yeah, there you have it. Another reference come in the Neon Bible, where he sings, "Take the poison of your age, don't lick your fingers when you turn the page." So what he's basically saying is that we're all kind of drinking of this bottle of poison every single day. We're all kind of slowly but surely dying for every single day that goes, and some of us might lick our fingers when we get poison. When we drink from this bottle of poison, we get some of it on our fingers. We want to lick it for some weird reason. A lot of people do stupid things. Some people do drugs extensively. Other people just hate themselves. They have no meaning in life, and they choose to cut themselves or harm themselves. It's a very dark record. It explores some very dark realms. He talks about Christianity in several of the songs, how so many people are kind of slaves to the Christian beliefs, and how you should actually really just come up with your own Christian meaning, what it means to, what the Bible really means. That is one of the big kind of core concepts in this album, the fact that the Bible is oftentimes portrayed as this and that is the correct way of living, because that is what the Bible says. But at the end of the day, if you want to have a religion in general, you kind of have to take your personal stance and find your own opinion about that religion, and you have to find your own way of conceptualizing it. But a lot of people are like sheep, and they become slaves to a religion and what the book is actually saying. I don't want to go too deep. We can probably talk a lot about it, but yeah, it's very interesting though. Another song that kind of touches on the themes of escape and reforming is Bad Wave, Bad Vibrations. "We can reach the sea. They won't follow me. Shadows, they fear the sun. We'll make it if we run. Run from the memory." The singer, Shazan as she's called, talks about how she's running from a memory, and how they can reach the sea if they kind of run, if they make it in time, and I think this is all about running from where you originally came from. When you grow up, you eventually want to leave your parents' house, and maybe this song is exploring that, that you don't want to be haunted by your past. At the same time, while you're leaving your parents, it's very scary to start your own life, but eventually you just have to trust yourself. And although you have fear inside you, although there are dark things behind you, many dark memories, you just have to let it go and let the sun kind of shine through and show you the path into the future. As you can see, this album is very deep and very meaningful in terms of the contexts, and you can probably dig yourself very deep in terms of the background story here. You can mess around with that for probably hours and days if you want to. Another thing that I really like, in addition to the lyrical depth and meaning here, is how the intensity, the emotional intensity of the instruments and the singers, how it kind of stretches across the whole album. The three first tracks kind of slows down and become less and less intensive. At the track Intervention, it all kind of picks up very hastily again, but then it slows very slowly down. In the start of Black Wave, Black Vibrations, that is. The second half of this song kind of intensifies a bit, but then it really just slows down and becomes really chill when we hear Ocean of Noise. And the whole album is kind of like a wave from the ocean. It kind of washes in, washes out. Sometimes the album becomes very intense, the wave washing in, and then it slowly washes out again and becomes less intense, and then I just want to round off this review by saying that this is a very unique record, like all of the other Arcade Fire records. If there's any other record that I would suggest you checking out, it would be The Funeral, because that is kind of my favorite to this point. I also like Reflector and The Suburbs. Check them all out if you want to. I would give this album a 8 out of 10, and I don't think I would give any of the other albums any lower rate. So yeah, check it out or you'll be missing out. That is what I have to say. If you guys want me to make an in-depth video about all of the other Arcade Fire records, if you want me to make a video about their background story, which is more in-depth, it's probably going to be like 20-25 minutes long. If that sounds good to you guys, then please share with me what you think in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. All right, and yeah. If you like this record, if you hate this record, also share that with me in the comments below. I would love to hear. All right. Thank you so much for watching again. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this. And I hope to see you later. All right. Stay tuned. Bye. And the prize goes out to Arcade Fire Neon Bible. Yeah, it is called Neon Bible. Lying to me card. This card is lying to me. It's an evil card. I want to eat it.